very slow, and one of the floaters was definitely waving up at them. Wolf called down to his propulsion room and told them to reheat the engines to 110% power. He wanted to solve this mystery quickly. The aircraft that had spotted the floaters was a U.S. Navy B-201, an 18-engine, long-range maritime attack plane commonly known as a Super C. It was an enormous airplane. Its wingspan was 960 feet, 3 times that of its distant cousin, the Hughes Spruce Goose. The airplane was so large it needed 2 crews, a total of 60 men, working 12-hour shifts to keep it in the air. Capable of staying aloft for 10 days at a time, it was returning from a week-long combat patrol in the East Atlantic when it detected the floaters. The crew had shot about 100 feet of Instafilm, and now the commander of the aircraft, sitting in his luxurious berth just behind the flight deck, was reviewing this footage. Clearly, it showed one of the people in the water waving up at them. What's more, a second floater seemed to be showing signs of life, too. The COA just couldn't believe it. This was getting stranger by the minute. Just as the COA requested another reel of Instafilm be shot and processed, his surface warfare officer called up to him. An enemy warship had been spotted on the Super C's long-range visual display. It was a heavy cruiser, a cloak ship, able to hide its presence from radar and sonar by means of a towed electronic interference array. But cloaking couldn't fool a TV camera, and the Hughes Super C bomber was bristling with them. The SW officer reported the enemy vessel was heading for the bodies in the water too, and at all-out speed. The COA cursed on hearing this news. Usually a cloaked cruiser would be a prize for him, but his bomber had been on battle station for a week and was depleted of torpedoes, depth charges, and anti-ship rockets. The plane's 24 machine gunners barely had enough ammunition to load their quad-barrel 50-caliber weapons. The gigantic airplane simply didn't have anything to shoot at the cruiser. But there was still the matter of the Louis St. Louis. The destroyer had not yet seen the enemy ship and was on a virtual collision course with it. It was up to the Super C's aircraft commander to warn them. The forward TV lookout on the Louis St. Louis spotted 2 people in the water at 13:09 hours and 55 seconds, about 10 minutes after first getting the call. The ship was only about 1 mile away now, and the waves, which had been calm, were growing choppy. They were approaching an area of the Atlantic that was known as the Demon Zone. This patch of ocean was infamous. It stretched from north of Bermuda down to the tip of Florida, and then out some 600 miles into the Atlantic. An unusually high number of ships and aircraft had been lost traversing the zone over the years. The weather was different here and prone to abrupt changes. Seamen of all stripes hated operating anywhere near it, Wolf included. But he had no choice but to continue on. The combat imminent message from the Super C came in at exactly 13:13 hours. An enemy cruiser had been spotted, Wolf was told. It was cloaking itself with electronic jamming, towing a separate sled almost as big as the ship itself to do so. The Super C's forward TV camera had the enemy vessel dead in its lens. The destroyer would be within range of the cruiser's weapons within 5 minutes. Wolf acknowledged the aircraft's report and called his crew to battle stations. They were half a mile from the floaters now, and it was apparent the enemy ship was heading for them too. He turned around to the massive computer located behind his bridge chair and typed several lines of numbers into its large keyboard. The machine's thick magnetic film wheels began spinning crazily, the multicolored lights on its control panel blinking like a Christmas tree. Essentially, Wolf was asking the huge computer what he should do, and it took only 35 seconds for the computer to spit out its answer. The destroyer was much faster than the enemy battlecruiser, and it was closer to the floaters. But the enemy guns had a longer range and could be very accurate. Therefore, the computer determined, the Louis St. Louis would beat the enemy cruiser to the floaters, but the destroyer would fall